May we have your attention, please? I would like everyone to make some noise and give a round of applause for your host for Kimberly B.
Welcome to Talk Therapy Live. I'm so excited about today's topic. Today's topic is the psychological effects of the abandoned child. All right, so we're going to get right into it today. All right, so we understand that for optimal balance and development, it is essential for children to have consistent, healthy relationships with both parents. When this does not happen, it causes dysfunction and distress. We all know that we are all just grown children. We are adults, but are also grown children. And what that means is that the messages that we receive and conclude about ourselves in childhood manifest through our behaviors and our bodies in adulthood. The messages that we receive and conclude in childhood manifest through our behaviors and our bodies in adulthood. For instance, if I'm a little girl and I'm crying and I'm whining and I'm not attended to, or I'm constantly told to go somewhere, shut up and sit down, then I'm going to receive the message that my feelings are not important and that I don't matter. So as an adult, I may begin to internalize and hold things in. Or I may become emotionally numb. So what we go through in our childhood, we develop messages and make conclusions about ourselves. So we're talking about childhood emotional neglect. Childhood emotional neglect, which is a form of abuse. Wikipedia says that abuse is the improper use or treatment of an individual or a thing. So it is a form of abuse. Now, with abandonment issues, a child may conclude that I'm not even worthy of my parents staying around, that I am unwanted, that I am unlovable, I have no value, I have no worth. And it can manifest in such a way that when you're an adult, you may experience loneliness, anger, depression, anxiety, self-critical thoughts, emotional detachment or numbness, eating disorders, and then some of us may become people pleasers, always trying to do something to win someone else's love, someone else's attention, someone else's affection. And we go overboard and may operate with some OCD features because of the messages that we receive when we are children, because they're manifesting now in our adulthood. So everything is cause and effect. Cause and effect. If there are fruits, you know that there are roots somewhere. So abandonment issues can cause you to make poor decisions as adults. It can come out physiologically, such as headaches, irritable bowel syndrome, insomnia, backaches, etc. Most often, I hear people with abandonment issues say things such as, I don't feel like I belong. It feels like I'm walking through a cloud or through a fog. I feel detached. Well, the truth of the matter is that, yes, you feel detached because you actually are detached. You detach from a part of who you are. You detach from your feelings. You build a wall from your feelings. But if you cannot feel, then you do not know what you want. Our feelings tell us what we want in this earth. Our feelings are intuitive. Our feelings guide us and they lead us. But a lot of us don't know who we are. We don't know what we want because we have disconnected from our feelings. Why? Because our feelings didn't get us anywhere when we were children. Our feelings were never validated. Our feelings were never important. So why have feelings? So as children, we guard ourselves and we protect ourselves. So then we become intellectual beings. So essentially, we begin to function from a fraction of ourselves. We turn away from the bad side and we build that wall and we only function from the better side. So we're split off from ourselves, functioning from only a fraction of who we really are. So the goal is to allow the emotional Novocaine to wear off. The goal is so that you can begin to feel alive again. Just because you have been in this position since childhood does not mean that we cannot correct it, because it's all learned behaviors. This is how I've been operating. I haven't been able to trust anyone with my heart. I haven't been able to trust anyone with my feelings, and this is the way we've been functioning. But as adults, so that we can become a better version of who we are, we have to begin to face those childhood issues. Whatever you don't address, you give permission to exist. So either you're going to handle the little girl or the little boy inside of you, or they will handle you in a maladaptive way. So here are a couple of steps that we can do, begin to cultivate and nurture that little girl. Nurture that little boy inside of you. First of all, you have to realize that who you need now is you. You've been reaching externally outside of yourself for help and for comfort, and that has been unavailable. So who you need now is you. So you have to turn to yourself and begin to nurture your own wounds. So what we have to do is identify the core emotion underneath your experience. What is a core emotion? So for instance, if I'm a little girl and I have siblings, and my siblings get new clothes and I get the hand-me-downs, as a little girl, that little girl would be envious. She would be jealous. She would be hurt. She would feel less important than her siblings. So what is the core emotion underneath the jealousy? The core emotion would be, I feel less important. I don't feel as loved as they are. So you have to be able to identify what is the core emotion and write them down. If your brother got a big wheel and you always wanted one, and he got the big wheel, then you're mad, you're angry at your brother. Now it's like sibling rivalry, like he gets whatever he needs. So what is the core emotion? The core emotion is that I feel less value than my sibling. I am angry and I am bitter, but we have to write it down. Write down what the core emotion is, because if you write it down, then you can speak to that thing. You write it down. If I felt less valuable, I can tell Kimberly, you know what? Girl, you got worth. You are a person who is valuable. You are important. Why? Because I need me. I don't need external validation. Now, I need internal validation. What you don't want to do is to perpetuate the abandonment cycle. We were abandoned by parents before, and now it's up to you. Are you going to turn away from yourself and abandon yourself? Now you need you. But you have to speak to those hurtful areas in your life. But you have to identify them so that you can speak to them. So number one, who you need is you. Number two, you have to put the work in, and you have to be able to identify and write down what the core emotion is. Number three, which some clients find it very hard to do, is mirror work. It's looking at that person in the mirror, looking beyond the earth suit, and speaking to the spiritual being that is on the inside, that hurting person that's on the inside, and looking at her eye to eye. Because the eye is the gateway to the soul. And you speak to her and you tell her that none of that pain was your fault. Yes, your parents may have abandoned you. And it doesn't have to just be physical abandonment. It could be emotional detachment. That was their thing. It had nothing to do with you. You are a person of worth. You are resilient. You are strong. You are beautiful. You are valuable. And you're speaking life to this spiritual being on the inside. And the last point that I want to make is meditate. Through meditation, you can rewrite your story. All right, so sisters got new dresses. Before I was hurt, I was angry, didn't feel like, I had any worth. But now through meditation, I can envision the same scenario and then rewrite the story and say, hey, mom and dad did the best that they had, the best that they could do. And because my siblings got new outfits, I get new clothes too. So it's like rewriting your own story. And the good thing about meditation is that the psyche does not even know you're not actually having the experience. And that's a wonderful thing. So we're able to change us on a cellular level through meditation.